Elias Rand walked through the quiet metal corridor with slow, unsure steps, his toolkit hanging from one hand like a tired weight. He had fixed broken engines, cracked pipes, old cargo bots, and even heating units on half-dead space stations, but he had never seen this part of the dock before. Everything felt still, almost too still, as if the entire place was waiting for something. A soft voice broke the silence. "This way, Elias," Lyra Venn said, her tone gentle and warm. She was from the Eva species, tall and soft-featured, with faint silver patterns on her skin that glowed when she was nervous. Today, they glowed a little brighter than usual. Elias followed her, trying not to look too awkward. He had never worked with an alien researcher before. He had never worked with someone who looked at him with so much trust either. "So, what exactly needs repair?" he asked. Lyra stopped in front of a massive sealed door. "Not repair," she whispered, "maybe, revival." The door slid open slowly, revealing a huge dark hangar. In the center stood a silent vessel covered in dust and shadows. Its design was old, curved, beautiful in a strange forgotten way. Lights from the ceiling reflected off its cracked hull. "This is the Astrix," Lyra said quietly. "It has been dead for 100 years. Many engineers tried to power it. None could. They say the ship refuses to respond." Elias stepped closer. For some reason, he felt drawn toward it. "Why me?" he asked. Lyra hesitated before answering. "Because you fix things with care, not with force. We need someone like that." Her words sent a warm, unfamiliar feeling through his chest. He ran his fingers along the cold hull. Dust crumbled under his touch, but then something unexpected happened. A faint pulse of blue light ran beneath the metal, like a heartbeat waking from sleep. Lyra gasped. "It reacted to you." Elias stepped back, startled. "I didn't do anything." "No," Lyra whispered, "you did." She guided him inside the vessel. The air inside felt heavy, but not dead, more like a deep breath waiting to be released. Elias knelt beside a small energy node, opened the panel, and gently reconnected two ancient cables. The ship trembled. A soft hum flowed through the walls. Lights flickered. A long-forgotten engine exhaled for the first time in a century. The Astrix was waking. Elias stared in disbelief. Did I really do that?" Lyra looked at him with something warm in her eyes, something close to admiration, something he had never seen directed at him before. "Yes, Elias," she said softly. "You brought it back." The lights inside the vessel grew brighter, reflecting in Lyra's gentle eyes. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The hum of the ship surrounded them, steady and warm, as if it approved of the two standing inside it. Elias felt something shift, something inside him, something inside the ship, something between them. Lyra stepped closer, her voice quiet. "Maybe this ship was waiting for the right hands, and maybe I was too." Elias felt his breath catch. And in the heart of a long-dead vessel, something new began to breathe again. The soft hum of the Astrix spread through the metal walls like a slow heartbeat. Elias Rand stood in the center of the control chamber, unsure if he should feel proud, scared, or confused. The vessel, sleeping for 100 years, was now awake, and it felt like it was watching him. Lyra Venn stepped beside him with calm steps. Her silver patterns glowed faintly, showing both excitement and worry. "The ship is responding to you, Elias. It listens to you," she said softly. Elias shrugged, but inside his chest something warm moved. "I didn't do much. I only fixed one broken line." "Sometimes," Lyra whispered, "that is enough to change everything." Her words stayed with him. As they explored the inner corridors, gentle blue lights followed their steps, glowing brighter whenever Elias touched a surface. The ship seemed alive, not like a machine, but like something that remembered feelings, memories, stories. "This place doesn't feel empty," Elias said quietly. Yes, Lyra replied, the Astrix was built by the Evis elders. They believed ships should carry emotion, not just metal. She paused. Sometimes they say the ship holds the last memories of its crew. Elias frowned. Memories? Like recordings? No, she said. More like echoes of fear, hope, love, everything stored deep in the hull. They reached a small circular room. The walls were covered with thin lines, almost like veins. When Elias stepped in, the lines lit up in soft gold. Lyra gasped. It's reacting again. Before either of them touched anything, the room shifted. A gentle wave of light rose from the floor. Shapes formed, blurry at first, then clearer. Elias stared, frozen. He was seeing people. Real people, but made of shimmering memory light. An old captain, a young pilot, a healer standing by the wall. They moved around the room without noticing Elias and Lyra, as if replaying a moment from the past. Is this real? Elias whispered. Memories stored in the ship, Lyra said. It's showing them to you. To us. The scene changed suddenly. The figures trembled. The walls shook, and a deep rumble filled the room. The crew members began running, shouting, fear across their glowing faces. The ship had been attacked. A violent explosion flashed across the memory. The captain shielded a child. The healer cried out. Then the light faded, leaving only silence. Elias stood speechless. Lyra's voice broke the silence, soft and heavy. The Astrix never returned from that mission. Nobody knew why. This is the truth the ship kept inside. Elias placed a hand on the wall gently. Poor people, they didn't even get to tell their story. The wall glowed warm under his palm, almost like it understood his sadness. Lyra watched him with soft eyes. You feel for them. That is why the ship trusts you. He turned to her. You talk like the ship has a heart. She smiled a little, a small, calm smile that made her look even softer. Maybe it does. Maybe that is what makes you special, Elias. Her words made him look away shyly. They continued walking deeper into the ship. Each corridor lit up for them. Each door opened smoothly. But something else was happening too, something between Elias and Lyra. The way she walked closer to him. The way he slowed his steps so she wouldn't fall behind. The way she looked at him with gentle trust. The way his voice softened when speaking to her. Feelings were growing, quiet but strong. When they reached the engine chamber, the ship suddenly trembled. A sharp alarm echoed through the air, and the doors slammed shut behind them. Lyra gasped. The ship is unstable. It wasn't designed to wake up so fast. Elias instantly checked the panels. The energy nodes flickered out of control. The ship is scared, Lyra whispered. He looked at her. Scared? Yes, she said. The memories of destruction, waking up so suddenly, it feels threatened. Elias stepped closer to the main node and placed his hands on the warm metal. Hey, it's okay, he whispered to the ship, his voice soft, steady, almost like he was calming a frightened child. You're not in danger. We're here. We're not like the ones who hurt you. The room lights flickered softly, responding to his voice. Lyra watched him, her chest tightening with a strange emotion. No human she had met ever spoke to machines like living beings. No one cared like he did. Elias, she said, her voice warm, you are not just repairing this ship. You are healing it. He turned, surprised by how close she was. They stood only a breath apart. Her silver glowing patterns reflected in his eyes. I'm just doing what feels right, he murmured. And that, she whispered, is exactly why I trust you. Before Elias could respond, the ship released a soft warm hum, like a sigh of relief. The alarms faded. The doors slowly slid open again. The danger had passed. They stepped out of the chamber together, walking side by side. Something unspoken passed between them, something gentle, something new, something that felt like the beginning of a bond deeper than either expected. The Astrix stayed quiet behind them, but its lights glowed with soft warmth. It remembered the pain of its past. But now, it was learning the comfort of new hands, new voices, new hearts. And in that moment, Elias and Lyra both felt it. They were becoming part of the ship's new story, together. The corridors of the Astrix glowed with a calm, steady light now. No alarms, no panic, only a gentle hum that felt almost like breathing. Elias and Lyra walked together in silence for a while, both feeling the strange warmth that filled the ship after it calmed down. "It listened to you," Lyra said softly, her voice echoing lightly against the metal walls. "You soothed it." Elias shook his head shyly. "I just talked. Maybe it needed someone to talk to." Lyra smiled, her silver skin patterns glowing in soft curves. "Machines don't react to just anyone." "Maybe it's lonely," Elias said. "Just like some people." He didn't expect his own words to reveal so much. Lyra felt them in her chest like a quiet ache. As they walked, the ship guided them without needing instructions. Doors opened before them. Lights brightened as they approached. The Astrix wanted them somewhere, wanted them to see something. They entered the last chamber, the core room. The air was different here, warm and alive. A large sphere floated at the center, wrapped in soft golden lines. It pulsed gently, like a peaceful heartbeat. Elias stared at it in awe. "This is the vessel's heart," Lyra whispered. "It stores the memories, and the consciousness of every captain who commanded it." Elias stepped closer. "It feels alive." "Because it is," Lyra said. "And I think it wants to speak to you." Elias placed his hand on the sphere. Instantly, warm light spread through the room. The walls shimmered, and gentle waves of memory warmth flowed into his hand. Elias didn't see images this time. He felt emotions, fear, love, loyalty, loss, hope, like echoes from another life. The ship spoke without words. "Thank you." Elias exhaled slowly. "You're welcome," he whispered. "You're safe now." Lyra watched him, her heart tightening in a way she couldn't explain. This human, this quiet, struggling engineer, was doing what no leader, no scientist, no master builder from her people could do. He was healing a soul made of metal. The heart of the Astrix pulsed again, brighter. Suddenly the floor trembled. A distant alarm echoed through the far walls, not panic, but a warning. The ship projected a soft image onto the core, a small crack in an outer hull ring, shaking under pressure. "The ship is unstable again," Lyra said in worry. "Waking after a century damaged more systems than we expected." Elias looked at the image. "Where is that section?" "Upper Ring 5, she answered. "But it's too dangerous. That chamber can collapse." "Then I'll go," Elias said without hesitation. Lyra stepped forward quickly. "No, you could die. If the hull collapses, the core collapses, and the ship dies," Elias said quietly. "We've come too far. I can't let that happen." "You don't have to fix everything alone," Lyra whispered. Elias looked at her gently. "I know. But I have to fix this part." Their eyes held each other's for a long second, soft, full, unspoken emotions crossing between them. The ship sensed their hesitation and dimmed the lights, encouraging them. Elias sighed. "I'll be fast." Lyra grabbed his hand before he stepped away. Her touch was warm, trembling slightly. "Come back to me," she whispered. Elias nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her words. He reached the upper ring through a narrow maintenance shaft. The metal vibrated under his feet, the sound of strain and old age spreading through the air. The chamber was dim, flickering with blue sparks. The crack in the hull glowed with stressed energy. "All right," Elias muttered, kneeling down. "Easy." He began working fast, reconnecting stabilizer rods, reinforcing pressure locks, attaching bypass wires. Each spark felt hotter than the last. The ship groaned around him, almost like it was scared. "I'm here," Elias whispered to it. "Just hold on a little longer." But then a heavy shake ran through the chamber. A support beam overhead broke loose and fell. Elias barely rolled aside in time. "Elias," Lyra's voice echoed through the ship's comms link. "I'm okay," he said breathlessly, though he knew he wasn't safe yet. The hull groaned louder. Elias placed his hands flat against the crack again. "Come on, work with me, we're not giving up now." The ship responded. Its light steadied. The pressure eased slightly, giving him just enough time. With one last connection, the stabilizer snapped into place. The entire chamber went still. The lights glowed warm. The ship let out a soft hum, a relieved, peaceful sound. "It's done," Elias breathed, exhausted. "You're okay now." He stood slowly, wiping sweat from his face, and made his way back. When the chamber doors opened, Lyra ran to him without thinking. She wrapped her arms around him tightly, her face pressing against his shoulder. "Don't do that again," she whispered, her voice shaking. Elias froze, then slowly held her back. "I'm sorry. I didn't want to scare you." "You did," she said, pulling back just enough to look at him. Because you matter to me." Elias felt something warm break open inside him, something he hadn't felt for years. "You matter to me too," he said quietly. The ship's lights warmed around them, glowing brighter, like it was happy for them. The core sphere pulsed softly again, sending a gentle wave through the room, a blessing, a thank you, a promise. The Astrix was alive again. And it had given something back. Not just memories revived, not just metal healed. But a bond, a connection, a beginning. Elias looked at Lyra, and she smiled softly, her silver patterns glowing like stars. "So," he said with a shy grin, "what now?" Lyra took his hand, her voice warm and full of emotion. "Now we see where this new journey takes us, together." The ship hummed gently. A heartbeat. A promise. A new story beginning. And in that soft glowing chamber, surrounded by the memories of a century-old vessel, Elias and Lyra stepped into a future neither had expected, but both already cared for. The Astrix floated silently above the abandoned dock, its golden lights now steady, warm, and alive. Elias and Lyra returned to the main corridor, but something felt different in the air, lighter, calmer, almost like the ship itself was breathing easier. Lyra walked slightly ahead of Elias, but every few steps she glanced back just to make sure he was still there. Her silver patterns glowed with soft light, not from fear this time, but from relief, and something deeper she didn't want to say yet. Elias noticed every glance. Each one warmed his chest a little more. "You really thought I wouldn't come back," he said gently. Lyra stopped, her breath catching. "I knew you would try," she whispered. "But trying is not the same as surviving." Elias lowered his head. "I'm sorry." "Don't apologize," Lyra replied softly. "Just, don't vanish like that again." He smiled shyly. "I can promise I'll try." A quiet hum passed through the corridor, like the ship was gently teasing them. Lyra touched the wall with her fingertips, and the surface glowed warmly. "It hurt us," she murmured. "The ship listens too much sometimes," Elias joked lightly. Lyra smiled, soft, real, the kind of smile that slowly grows when someone feels safe. They reached a chamber that neither of them remembered entering before. The walls were covered with soft wave-like shapes, almost like ripples on water. In the center, a large seat-like structure made of golden metal rested under a beam of silver-blue light. Elias frowned. This wasn't here earlier. Lyra's eyes widened. This is an attunement cradle. It links a living mind to the ship. Elias froze. Links? Like, controls. No, Lyra whispered. It creates a bond. Emotions, instincts, intentions, shared between the ship and one person. Elias took a slow step back. No thanks. I'm not good with even normal emotions. Lyra laughed softly, a gentle, musical sound that made Elias blush. It's not something dangerous. The cradle only activates for someone the ship trusts completely. They both looked at the cradle. The silver light slowly brightened. Elias sighed. Of course. Elias, Lyra said gently, placing a hand on his arm, you don't have to sit in it. The ship may want it, but it cannot force you. But Elias looked at her hand on his arm, and the way her silver patterns glowed softly, and something inside him settled. I'll do it, he said. Lyra blinked. Why? Because you believe in me, he answered. And because the ship, it feels like it needs someone. I know what that feels like. Her eyes softened in a way he wasn't ready for. Slowly, Elias sat in the cradle. The metal shifted around him, not trapping him, just holding him like gentle hands. The silver beam lowered onto his chest. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a wave of warmth spread through his body, not painful, not strange, just warm. He closed his eyes as memories, emotions, echoes flowed around him. The ship wasn't forcing thoughts into him, it was sharing. It showed him the last feelings of the crew, fear turning into determination, sadness turning into hope. But then something unexpected happened. A new emotion entered the connection. Calm. Comfort. Warm trust. It wasn't from the ship. It was from Lyra. She had placed her hand on the side of the cradle, her silver glow flowing gently into the beam. She didn't know she was connecting to him, not fully, but the ship lowered its light and connected her anyway. Elias felt her calmness like a warm blanket around his heart. And Lyra felt Elias's gentle sadness, his quiet bravery, the softness he hid from others. She gasped softly. Elias, you. He opened his eyes slowly, breathing steady. Lyra? Her voice trembled. You carry so much alone. He looked down. I'm sorry you felt that. Don't apologize for being human, she whispered. Don't apologize for caring. The beam slowly lifted. The cradle released him gently, like a warm exhale. Elias stood up slowly, still processing everything he felt, not just from the ship, but from Lyra. Lyra approached him, her silver patterns glowing in a faint rhythm. I felt your heart, she whispered. And it is, stronger than you think. He looked at her gently. And I felt yours. You're braver than you realize. They stood close, too close, and neither stepped back this time. The ship hummed softly, almost like it was smiling. Later, they walked toward the main viewer, a large transparent wall showing the dark space outside. Stars floated like dust across the endless black. Lyra stood beside him, her shoulder touching his lightly but intentionally. You know, she said softly, the attunement cradle only connects people who have a bond. Elias turned to her. A bond? She nodded, her cheeks glowing faintly. Yes. Something real. Something alive. He swallowed lightly, his heart beating faster. And, you think we have that? She turned her head slightly, shy but fearless. I don't think it, she paused. I feel it. The ship's lights brightened around them, surrounding them in soft golden warmth. Elias took a slow breath. Lyra, I feel it too. The silence that followed was not empty. It was full of something soft, something growing, something that felt like the beginning of a real connection, the kind that happens once in a lifetime. The ship hummed again, a gentle heartbeat. And for the first time in a long time, Elias felt like he belonged, not just to a place, not just to a vessel, but to someone. Someone standing right beside him. Someone who felt the same.